Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a new Bleach Chapter 536 prediction. And once again, I want to apologize to all of my subscribers out there who were looking for a video last week and did not get a video last week. And pretty much, I know a lot of you guys probably already know why, dealing with school. But this is finals week, which means that I will be done this week as far as, this semester is concerned. I only have one final, which is why I have time to actually do my videos this week and, won't have any issues. But I do actually have something coming up in a few weeks where I'll be gone for, like, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks, so I will be going on a short hiatus, but I'm gonna see if I can try to make some videos, maybe some theory videos or something along that sort, maybe even some crossover battles to do so that I can have pre-recorded and I will upload during the course of next week. But I talk a lot more about what's going on or what will be going on with my videos in the next few weeks on another video. So I'm going to go ahead and link my update video down below in case a lot of you guys haven't checked it out, give you an idea of what's going on my channel, and you can even throw suggestions for things that you want to see later on my channel. Now, here's the thing. This week's chapter, I didn't really talk about, how Masaki, of course, from last week, we saw the hollow hole starting to form on her. And I just have to say out the gate, that right there is obviously the key to how Ichigo is not only going to get his full bring, but then it also shows that it seems like Ichigo pretty much has like a double dose of hollow powers, at least what I would consider to be a double dose of hollow powers. In this week's chapter, in a sense, kind of confirms, at least what I'm saying, because you even look at how, okay, in a sense, Masaki is becoming a visor, just a different type of visor, because the chapter starts off with us seeing her floating in like some kind of space, obviously in her subconscious, in her soul, and you see this mask starting to form in front of her, this giant mask, and it looks just like that, the same shape of Hollow Ichigo's mask. And as all of us know out there, hollow masks, usually they vary in terms of shape, size, and how they look. And this looks like, in terms of the facial structure and everything, Hollow Ichigo's mask. So there is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, a connection between this Hollow and Hollow Ichigo, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know out there by now. And it's not like I'm claiming that I, made this claim or anything like that, because I know everybody out there pretty much thought this. But I just think it's pretty cool, the fact that, we're actually starting to see this all unfold right now at this current time. And of course, we see Urahara, like the first, I guess you could say, conversations, or between Urahara and Ryukin, which is pretty cool, because now we all understand, under what circumstances they met, and the relationship between all of them, or we're starting to get a better understanding, because you start to see, a relationship start to form with all of them, because Urahara right now, he's trying to figure out a way to help Masaki. Well, he already knows how to help Masaki, but he's pretty much giving Ryukin and Ishin the rundown of how holification works, and he even goes on to explain, that Quincy's and Shinigami are the exact opposites of each other, which I didn't actually know, and the exact opposite of a human is a hollow. And he talks about the visors and how he was able to help the visors by taking the arrow of a Quincy and being able to use that as some kind of serum in order to actually suppress, or I should say, suppress this thing called, I know it's some kind of self-destruction. I forgot exact. I think it was soul destruction, self-destruction, something like that. And basically, we actually saw soul self-destruction happen like 2 chapters ago, when Masaki shot that hollow in the head, and then right after that it exploded. And that's a process, I guess, that just happens. In order to actually be able to stop that, he had to take the Quincy arrow, and he was able to do that for Shinigami. But for Quincy, it's different. You would actually need the opposite. And you would need something that's consistently able to actually suppress that power. And that would mean that a Quincy would need something dealing with a Shinigami, which actually is how Ishin actually comes into play. Ryukin actually thought, oh no, he's never going to go for this. He'd lose his powers. He'd become human, because that's essentially what this process is. He's going to have, basically, Ishin is going to have to be linked with Masaki, and pretty much keep her power under wraps in order for him, or in order for her not to become, completely a hollow. So in a sense, you could say, Masaki is a visor, just a different type of visor. At least I would say that, since she has, an inner hollow in a way. And now that we see, Ishin actually decided to go ahead and go through with the decision of helping Masaki, which actually, of course, was to Ryukin's surprise, which, I guess you can now we get a better understanding how they end up becoming friends through this process, because I mean, he's seeing somebody do something like that for a person that he actually cares about. It's kind of interesting seeing the fact that now we know how Ishin loses his powers. That it wasn't necessarily through the final Getsuga, because everybody assumed, oh, it's the final Getsuga, it's the final Getsuga, and I even thought, oh, maybe it's the final Getsuga, because I mean, everybody assumed that Ichigo, I mean, or not Ichigo, but Ishin has the final Getsuga since he told Ichigo about the final Getsuga Tensho, which is a pretty good assumption. Not only that, but he even used Getsuga Tensho itself, which I do still think he has the final Getsuga. I just feel like maybe he hasn't had a circumstance in which he has to use it, or he had to use it. So now that we see Ishin, he puts on this like I forgot exactly what Urahara called it, but I guess you could say maybe like a souped up gi guy, where you can't really leave it, since he's kind of bonded to it as long as Masaki's alive. But he ends up entering Masaki's soul and actually ends up saving her at the end of the chapter, because you see her getting ready to get sucked into the hollow soul, and that was pretty much the end. So in a way, I guess you could say is that like Ishin, I mean, since he lost all his powers, that explains why he wasn't really able to help with the whole Grand Fisher situation. But it does definitely make you wonder what ultimately actually killed Masaki, because I mean, to die to Grand Fisher still would be a huge surprise, considering that she seemed like she knew what she was doing as a Quincy. And I don't even know if Ishin necessarily knows. Like I think I said in my last video, or I don't. Oh no, I didn't say this in my last video. I don't think I did. But I think that Juha more or less knows probably more about the truth of the whole Grand Fisher incident than probably Ishin himself. And that actually would make more sense. And maybe heck, even Aizen knows a little bit more about how she died. I think the purpose of this flashback is literally just to tell Ichigo how many his parents met, and how basically his birth came about. But as far as her death goes, that may be something he may have to either seek out through Aizen or seek out through Juha Bach. Now, um, as far as the ending of the chapter, when we saw him save, I mean, I think the flashback is probably about to finish up pretty soon. Maybe next chapter, I'm thinking, or maybe one extra chapter after that. I don't think we're gonna get too much more, because again, it seems like it's starting to wrap up at this point. But this chapter was very informative, and I really enjoyed it as a whole. And the beginning, I mean, I feel like all throughout the chapter, was nice. I like the panel seeing Masaki getting ready to get engulfed by the Hollow that looks just like Hollow Ichigo's mask. And I'm definitely thinking that this power, is going to end up, of course, transferring to Ichigo, through his full bring, and not only, how he gets his full bring, but since you get it through your mother, but I'm also thinking that he's going to, or I think when how you guys know how he got his hollow powers when he went through the process to try to become a Shinigami again. I think that's pretty much just giving him a double dose of hollow powers, and I feel like I kind of wonder if maybe that has something to do with maybe how Ichigo, or why Ichigo never had the same issues Masaki had, because we all know Masaki, she right now they're talking about the whole soul destruction, or the soul self-destruction thing. That was an issue for Masaki, and it seems like it was also an issue for the other Vizards. But then it makes you question whether or not, why Ichigo never had this issue, why Ichigo never was about to self-destruct, at least to, our knowledge, unless something happened off panel and they had to fix him up. So I don't know. I mean, I'm a little confused about that part right there, but I think it may have to do with maybe him having like maybe a double dose of hollow power, since you're gonna have obviously the power from Masaki, which looks just like that of Hollow Ichigo, transfer over to him probably through birth, and then also you're gonna have the whole him gaining hollow powers from going through the whole process to try to reobtain Shinigami powers. So yeah, definitely. Again, I think this chapter, did serve, a really important purpose in the overall flashback, scheme. And, it was very enjoyable, at least to me, to be able to get some explanations. Usually I think Kubo does a great job with that. Usually it's always pretty entertaining and nice to see, no action or anything like that, but still really good. As far as the artwork, Kubo always does an excellent job on artwork. And as far as I would say, trying to think of how to put it. As far, I mean, like the flow, the everything was just done well. I mean, the flow, the explanation, the way how everything was handled to me, I feel like it's been well done with this flashback. Even though it's been a little bit slow, I feel like the structure overall is great. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give this chapter a rating, and I will definitely have to say this chapter deserves a captain level rating. And in case some of you guys don't know what a captain level rating is, that basically means it was a great chapter. And overall, I mean, for what I think is going to happen next chapter, we'll probably get, of course, like I said, two more chapters of this flashback. Wrapping it up. Probably, maybe even. I'm not going to say like a jump anywhere, but we'll probably start to see Ishin and Masaki grow closer. Now obviously lead up to Ichigo being born. Maybe that probably maybe right. Around that time, maybe the next two chapters. Then that's when or maybe we may not even see the birth of Ichigo necessarily, but we'll see at least them start to form a life together, and then that'll pretty much be the end of the flashback, and we'll go back to present time. The only question is, where is it going to lead for here for Ichigo? How is he going to be able to, what steps is he going to actually take to fix his Bankai, or is he going to try to go to Ryukin, learn how to use his Quincy powers? Now that we know Ryukin's in this flashback, and now Ichigo will obviously know about how Ryukin, was close with his mother. It would make sense to me if Ryukin may teach him because they were close. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to rate it. So if you did like this video, please don't forget to go put a thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, you can put a thumbs down if you want to. The choice is yours. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of my videos. And